or the people? Well, since I don't remember an article or clause in the Constitution called things permissible to smoke or inject or eat or love, these morality laws have no business in our society. Now, a lot of people who try to justify tyranny and fascism will say, well, it's the elasticity clause. It's the right of Congress to regulate interstate commerce. Well, let me tell you, commerce ended long before somebody started smoking dope. Commerce ended before the crack is in the crack pipe. Commerce ended before two gay men decided to contract their life together. Okay? The idea that these things are somehow within the rights of the Constitution to be regulated is stupid. Who cares what people do with their lives? The fact that I have to keep justifying this argument in different ways is just insane. And it comes back to principles. Either you believe a person is entitled to their own life and how it's lived, or you don't. And if you don't, you're tyrannical. And you are just a few steps away from communism. That's not up for debate. It's a fact. Principles of liberty are not omitted when it comes to religious mandate, when it comes to what you think is good and bad, to what is healthy and not healthy, or anything like that. If it does not involve using force on another human being, it is not within the rights of the government to regulate it. Now, people have distorted and twisted and confused people about what the Constitution says and about what liberty means. They're wrong, and they've messed this up. So the idea that, well, Congress this, or, well, government's been doing that. No. If we compare everything by what government has done with the voting people support, let's just go right on down to Germany, 1940s. Hitler was elected, my friends. Hitler was elected lawfully to office in Germany. Keep that in mind. When you talk about what laws are in place and what historically has been done and what legally can be done, keep in mind that Hitler was elected to office. Keep in mind that it used to be legally defined in the Constitution, that black people were only 3/5 of a person. That's a thing. That's truth. And that was here in this country. And let's also not forget that people tried to make it illegal for black people to marry outside of, for anyone for that matter, to marry outside of their race. By what right do people claim that authority? Well, the social contract, and you signed on to live by our laws and our government when you were born here, because when you're born here, we signed this contract in your blood, we'll put you to death if you disagree. And that's what this boils down to. The idea that people's principles are not being followed, that conservatives are not using their principles to the fullest extent and stopping where the blue laws begin, stopping where legislating morality becomes part of their repertoire, is where they fail logically. It's where they fail to honor their minds. Now, if you ever sit at home and think about politics, and you're sitting there and you think, the government needs to leave me alone. If you're thinking, the NSA needs to stop spying on my life, they have no business spying on me. If you think, Molon Labe, come and take it, you will not regulate my right to bear arms. If you think, Mr. Obama, this Obamacare is corrupt, get out of my health care. If you think that a little girl getting a permit for a lemonade stand is ridiculous and an overreach of government, then you're no different from me. Then you have the same principles of liberty, and you must follow them. These ideas of what is right and proper all stem from principles. Now, many people and many ideologies, religions, societies will try and get you to compromise those principles in certain aspects so that you better fit with what other people believe. That's wrong. And it's your job to know that's wrong because of your principles. By what right can you claim the authority over another man's life? The answer is no. None. You can't. It's their life. The only form of government that is acceptable is a police force to prevent force being used against individuals, and you've also got a military to prevent outside invaders. Anything else can be a violation of rights, because you've got the FDA telling people they can't drink raw milk. You've got the EPA closing down businesses and overreaching authority, shutting down entire industries like coal or light bulbs. You've got people demanding 15-hour wages for people who aren't doing 15 hours labor, or $15 an hour labor. You've got people saying gay people should not be able to sign a paper promising to give half their crap to someone if they break up, because God doesn't want them to get married. You've got people saying you shouldn't be able to smoke a plant because it's bad for you, I think, despite curing many diseases and all the other scientific proof. It's time that in this country we put an end to the violations against our own mind. It's time that we began following through on our principles. There is no authority that man can possess against his fellow man unless he's using force against an individual. And that's it, folks. Otherwise, we're going to continue seeing ridiculous things in our society, such as people being arrested for wearing Google Glass. We're going to see people being put away for doing things that don't involve violence against others. All right, everyone, I hope you enjoyed the show. We'll see you next week. Be sure and check out the page, facebook.com/AmericaOurWay. Follow me on Twitter @AmericaOurWay. We'll see you next week.